YouTube? This is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we've got your quarterback week 6 start and sit videos. We're getting closer and closer to the halfway point of the season. Hopefully your roster has been performing really well for you guys. And if not, make sure you guys check out our waiver wire video to get you guys ready for this week. There was some great gameplay, especially from the Chiefs and Raiders game last night. A little bit of a disappointment if you're a Raiders fan, how that ended, but it was a really good game nonetheless. So there are 4 teams on a bye. One of them are the Raiders. You got the Lions, the Titans, and the Texans this week that are not playing. So make sure you are prepared and ready for that. And again, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. That way you guys are ready for your lineups this week. And of course, if you have questions, always hit us up in the comments. Now, these are your obvious quarterbacks you should be starting this week. Again, no matter the matchup, at this point, these guys are pretty much performing week in and week out. You could say that there are a couple tough matchups for some of these quarterbacks, but I still like them as obvious starts for you this week. Now, the first quarterback I have as a good start is going to be Kirk Cousins going against the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins have allowed the 4th most points to quarterbacks with 22.7. They're also allowing 285 passing yards to quarterbacks as well every game. Kirk has actually had 23 points last week with just under 300 yards. He only had 1 touchdown. He did have that rushing touchdown as well, which helped him. But I can see this as a multiple touchdown type of game. We'll see if Tua comes back, because not only obviously is he dealing with his concussion, Teddy Bridgewater had a concussion. So they ended up playing with their 3rd string quarterback. Hopefully that changes for this week, not just for the competitiveness, but also just for the health of both players. Obviously, Bridgewater and Tua we're hoping are healthy, but I do like Kirk Cousins this week as far as a really good matchup. Now, the second guy I have as a good matchup is going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy G is going against the Atlanta Falcons this week. I had him as a good waiver wire pickup because the matchup is really good. The Falcons allow 19.6 points to quarterbacks. They're allowing an average of 290 passing yards. Jimmy G has actually been pretty consistent this season so far, really coming in, and this is kind of his week 4 at this point. And I think this is where you start to see quarterbacks really start to gel in their offenses about week 4 and 5, if you saw most games this past weekend. But this is a defense that he can really take advantage of. I see a couple touchdowns, see maybe 230 yards. He's not going to throw 300 plus yards. That's not Jimmy G's style. They just need to be ahead, and this is easily a game he could be ahead in this one. The last quarterback I think is going to be a good start for you guys going to be this week is Tom Brady. Now, you may put him as an obvious start because you probably have him as your QB1, but I like him against the Steelers this week. Steelers are allowing the 5th most points in 22.2. They also allow an average of 2 passing touchdowns per game and 290 passing yards. So not only is this a really good game, they just gave up 4 touchdown passes to Josh Allen last week in the first half. Do I expect that same type of performance out of the Bucs? Not necessarily, but I do believe the Bucs obviously will be ahead. And realistically, Fournette has performed really well in the running game, but I do think this is still more of a passing game for Brady to really perform. And again, have another really solid week this week. Now, a quarterback I don't like this week is going to be Marcus Mariota against the 49ers. 49ers are a really tough defense. And on top of that, you're probably not starting Marcus Mariota anyways, unless you're in super flex or a deep league. But the 49ers are the best against the quarterback with keeping them under 10 points. They're also keeping them under 210 passing yards and barely allowing a touchdown a game. So this is a really tough matchup. The only thing that kind of helps save Mariota a little bit is his running ability. But again, the way this defense plays for the 49ers, I don't even see that as a factor in this one, so I'm not starting him. Another quarterback I'm not starting is Jameis Winston. Now, this is obviously going to be due to his health. He's missed the last 2 games, so Andy Dalton has to come in and play for him. But the Bengals actually have given up the 5th fewest points with 12.5. They're also averaging an interception per game, which is something Winston has had some troubles with this year. And they're keeping quarterbacks under 240 passing yards. So if Winston does play, I don't think this is a really good matchup. Michael Thomas has still been out. We're kind of waiting to see what's going on with that. Jarvis Landry was out. Kamara's still dealing with his rib injury. There's just a lot of injuries in this offense that I don't feel comfortable with him. Now, the last quarterback I have as a good sit is going to be Zach Wilson. Reason I mentioned him is because Zach Wilson actually has done pretty well, and some people have considered starting him. He's doing a pretty good job in his 2 starts coming back from his injury, but he's going against the Packers, who are tough against the pass. They're holding quarterbacks to 12.7 points and keeping them under 200 passing yards, which is one of the best in the league. Now, Wilson does have great weapons, but again, the way this defense plays, and he's still kind of in that second-year mentality of learning how to really be a good professional quarterback, this is not a matchup I'm putting him in, especially against those Packers. Now, as a good sleeper I have this week is going to be Geno Smith, who has performed really well. He's going against the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals are allowing 19.9 points to the quarterbacks. plus 260 passing yards. Geno has actually been very consistent of late and being smart with the ball. He's not doing careless turnovers. This could be a game where he plays catch up due to the Cardinals offense and putting in you probably about 16 to 19 points in fantasy, which is a really good start, especially if you're filling in for a bye week like a Goff or maybe a Derek Carr. Last quarterback I have as a good sleeper is Daniel Jones. Giants came up with a nice upset against the Packers. They're going against the Ravens this week, who have given up the second most points with 23.6 points. They also allow over 300 passing yards and an average of 2 passing touchdowns per game. Now, reason why I have Daniel Jones as a good sleeper is that if his receivers come back, this will help him. He does have the running capability. He can play catch up if he needs to in this game. Now, do I think the Giants win? Not necessarily, but I think they're going to play hard. They've done a really good job this season so far. No one thought they were going to beat the Packers, and they did. So if he gets his receivers back, which is a big if because he has been playing with a lot of backups at this point, I do like Daniel Jones as a good sleeper. So those are my start, sits, and sleepers for week 6. Again, if you guys have any questions of who you should be starting, or if you have questions of trades or waivers or anything like that, hit us up in the comments down below. We'll be able to help answer those. If you guys have other questions, or if of course you want to follow us, hit us up on our socials. We're on Twitter and Instagram. We'll be able to help keep you guys up to date of any news, whether it be injury related, trades, whatever might happen in this NFL season. Again, if you guys did enjoy the content, make sure you hit the subscribe button and that like button as well. Make sure you guys help and support this channel. You guys are appreciated so much. You guys are amazing. This community is awesome. And again, stay tuned. Our running back, wide receiver, and tight end starts and sits videos will be coming up this week as well. Again, make sure you pay attention to those as well. And I'll check you guys out next time.